In this video, I want to break down my 5-step methodology to allow you guys to fully conquer overtrading, revenge trading, and overall just jumping into the market when you're not supposed to. I promise you, if you guys apply these 5 steps and actually pay attention to all the information in these 5 steps and how to implement them, you're going to see a noticeable change in your trading performance and your specific strategy and your performance. All right. I use these techniques every single day. If you guys are part of my community, watching trade live, you guys see me apply these concepts every single day. Practically all 5 of these. Some of these I don't anymore because I already mastered it, and we'll go more into which ones I'm talking to specifically in a second. But 5 methods to conquer overtrading, but not just overtrading, revenge trading, gambling, jumping where you're not supposed to, forever. Bonus tip at the end. Wait for that one. All right. First one I want to talk about, I'm sure you guys have heard me say this before, is limiting yourself to a trading, I should say, time window. When I say time window, I mean maybe that's a specific session you want to trade. New York session market open, maybe New York session market close, maybe Asia session, maybe London session. Whatever that may be, you need to find a trading window that suits your trading goals and the time that you want to be trading in, and only take trades in that specific trading window. If I get a setup happening at 10:31 a.m., am I going to take the trade? Does it look like 10:31 a.m. falls in between 9:30 and 10:30? No. So why would I take a trade at 10:31? Oh, but Oro, it's just right after the window. No. I'm telling you guys, the more robotic and mechanical and strict you are with your rules, no subjective, no room for error, you're going to make it so precise that you're not going to even make any more mistakes. In order to limit those mistakes, you need to make your shit so precise. I'm telling you, and follow it to the T. So strictly 9:30 to 10:30 a.m., no exceptions at all. Okay, that's just one example. You guys could do 9:30 to 10 o'clock. Maybe you could choose specific time like 9:33 to 9:57, whatever you may choose. You could choose your own trading window, whatever suits your preferences and whatever is optimal for your strategy. Just pick a specific time and stick to it. Okay. Next one. I don't want to go too far into it, but number 2, restricting yourself to X amount of trades, whether that be 3 trades max. You can approach it like that, where you set a number of trades per day, regardless of what the outcome is. That's your limit. Or you can limit yourself to only A+ setups. Well, actually, when you restrict yourself, you're restricting yourself realistically to only take the A+ setups anyways. But the goal is to restrict yourself to take less trades, because there aren't A+ setups throughout the entire trading session too often. So if you're currently taking 10 to 20 to even maybe 30 trades a day, you're likely taking lower quality setups that are causing you to stay break even or unprofitable and just lose money to fees and commissions and stay unprofitable as well. So restricting yourself to 1 to 3 trades max, you're making yourself only focus on taking the best trades, because you don't want to use up those specific trades all at once. You want to wait till the setup is perfect, where if you see the setup, you'll be hella surprised if it goes to stop loss. That's how confident you need to be in that trade. Not a half-ass trade, but a high-quality trade following all of your rules. Okay? And one thing I want to also mention is you can combine some of these rules together as well. For example, you can combine the limiting trades window, you can combine the restricting yourself as well, and the other 3 plus the bonus one as well, to get you maxing out mastering overtrading. All right? You want to under trade max right here. Okay? That's what we want to do. So you can also not just limit yourself to 3 trades day max, but you can also limit yourself to, okay, why is it scrolling down? I don't want to show the bottom one. Okay. Now it's just messing around. You can also stop your trades after certain outcomes. For example, 2 losses and you're done. 1 win and you're done. Or if you do 1 loss and then a win, you're done in that situation as well, right? When you have these strict rules for yourself, you make it so there's no variance, no human subjectivity, no humanness involved where there's any complication and any room for exceptions. When you make it strict and consistent and no exceptions, you're limiting the amount of subjectivity there is, which limits the amount of emotions that can come into play and affect your decision making. When your decision making is practically robotic and mechanical as possible, you leave literally almost 0 room for human error or human intervention to cause you to make mistakes that don't align with your strategy or your performance or what you want to do, your plan. So that's kind of what all these steps are about, making things more robust, clear, concise, simple, and easy to follow with no exceptions, clear rules. And that's what we want to push towards, because that's going to allow you to limit your overtrading, because you're not leaving any room for stuff that's outside of the rules. And again, once you set these rules for yourself, another extra point, make a sticky note or have a page on your computer or on a piece of paper that lists these rules that you should follow, and make sure you keep looking at it every few minutes in your trading session. That's going to make sure that you remember your specific rules and you follow to the T. Okay? And we'll go over in the later steps on how you can make sure that you follow them and go reflect and so on. Now, after this number 2 step, we can go on to number 3, which is limit any subjectivity and discretion in your trading strategy. Make it more mechanical and rule-based. For example, instead of saying enter when it feels like the market is reversing, you can say enter when a candle closes in direction of buys. You guys can already see how this first statement leaves a lot of room for subjectivity. What does feeling like the market is reversing even mean? So that could mean something different from one person to another. That may look like a bunch of different variations of things that if you don't clearly define it, you don't really know what you're looking for. Sometimes you might not feel it, but you might see it go in your direction and jump in when you're not supposed to. And then you lose the trade and you look back, you're like, oh, but it didn't. I thought it felt like it, but it was really just FOMO. So you see, when you leave this room for subjectivity, when it's not a clear rule, sometimes your intuition or like your rule can feel like it's an actual rule, feel like a confirmation is there, but it's really just an emotional instinct of just wanting to jump in because of a FOMO reason or an emotional reason, not an actual strategy or rule-based reason. So in order to eliminate that kind of room for subjectivity, what do? Again, like I mentioned earlier, limit the subjectivity by making it more rule-based and mechanical. Like waiting for a candle close in the direction of the buys. There's no subjectivity for that. It can close this small or this big, doesn't matter. As long as it closes in the direction of my buys, I'm okay to enter. That's all I need to see. No emotion, no room for subjectivity, no any space for human input to come and make a mistake. So it's going to be really easy to follow. Why wouldn't it be easy to follow? You guys can see the main difference already. Okay. Now, applying all these 3 steps, I will guarantee you guys will already go so far ahead. A lot of you guys might even watch this video and understand the 5 steps, but the issue you guys still have is you don't implement the 5 steps. So after you watch this video, I want to see you guys implement it. And if you guys do find it helpful, let me know down in the comments of this video. I really love seeing you guys win and actually implement some of these tactics and methodologies and actually improving in it. So if you guys do implement it and see any improvements, let me know in the comments down below. But moving on to the next bullet point or next number 4, it's going to be have a full written out plan about what you look for with your specific strategy every single day. And I'm going to show, if you guys haven't seen already, I have a Notion template that breaks down how you guys can write your plan out and to what to look for every single day going into the market, which is going to help you have a clear vision of what you want going to market, right? You might go into the market with one kind of mindset, but then see something else happen and boom, you switch your mindset. Now you're trading a whole different thing because you feel like it's going to work out if you take this trade since it's moving different than your plan. But it's not according to your plan, and you jump in where you're not supposed to, hit stop loss, you lose money, and you're like, oh, I should have just followed my rules. If I just followed my rules, I would have been fine and have my funded account still. So in that case, what do you need to do? You need to have a plan written out so you know what you're following day to day, minute to minute even, okay? So this specific template, I'll leave a link in the description for this. It's a full-on template for you guys to break down your strategy and what the strategy's purpose is, what type of strategy it is, the condition you need to have it in to be able to take the trade, the time frames, etc., condition, entries, exits, stop loss. So basically everything you look for to get a trade with this specific strategy in your specific trading day, So fill this out. I'll have a link in the description. I have a separate video that you guys can check out on my channel that explains how to set this all up, but you're going to pretty much make a copy of this specific template. You're going to fill out all these details and fill out all the checklist points with your specific information and make sure all the boxes are checked as you're about to get your setup. Or if it's easier for you, you can clear up some of the clutter and make it so you see your rules and you're eyeballing it step by step and making sure everything gets hit. And if all, like for example, 4 of these are hit but not this 5th one, you don't move on to the next step. Okay, you want to approach this kind of like a top-down fashion. bias market context first. What are your rules for the context of what the market needs to look like for your trade? And then once you get the right market context, then you can move on to what you look for your entries and what you look for actually pulling the trigger to enter the position. Next, right, again, you don't want to move on to the next position, which is, for example, market order, until all these two are checked off, okay? That's it. This is going to help systemize everything. Yes. Oh, Oro, but that's so much work. I have to have new bullet points and keep track of all this. I have to break down my... Yes, bro. The reason you're not profitable is because you're doing the same things you're already doing that's not working. You need to change up what you're doing if you want to see a different result. Okay, you need to change to change. Sometimes that means doing stuff that's uncomfortable, because usually the stuff that's uncomfortable is going to actually get you to success. All right? So if it feels uncomfortable, it's likely the thing that you need to do that you're dreading and putting off. Okay, so it's time to make that change. Next, stop loss, take profit, make sure everything is checked off. Trade management, if you have that, you can have that, sure. Risk management, examples. This you don't have to, but this is for your strategy breakdown to know examples of what you need to look for, examples of the market condition, market context you need to look for, and here's some extra post-note trade or post-trade note reflection. So if you have any reflections, you want to make some adjustments you potentially think could impact the strategy, you can note it down here and potentially make changes. So this should be like constantly updated and constantly looked at with your specific plan, with your specific strategy. All right. Now, going to point number 5, journal your trades, analysis, and your thought process. This is going to be so important, because by not journaling your trades, you're saying that you can somehow remember every single thought process you have, memorize every single mistake you have, and you're not going to make any more mistakes again, because you don't need to journal. You're so smart that you already know the answer to your mistake and you're not going to do it again. So if that's the case, why aren't you profitable yet? Come on. So get to journaling, track your trades, because journaling is going to help you document your thought process and see where are the weak points in my thought process. If you enter a trade and you FOMO'd in there, you emotionally got in, and then you exit the trade, hit stop loss, instead of complaining, sure, you can complain, but after you're done doing that, go back to your journal. For example, I have a template that you guys can also use, which we'll talk about as well. Go back to your journal and fill out the details for every single section right here. Every time you take a trade, you're going to press this plus button, add a new page, and document, for example, NQW, what's today? 7/7/25, for example. And you're going to put all the details, like what is the asset, the strategy, position, outcome, entry, exit, was there news, PNL, risking points, and then here's the most important part for journaling. Overview. What was your initial thought process of the trades? Okay, you want to break down what you initially saw. Now, don't change this up based on what you saw after, right? It's easy to switch this up because you have hindsight, but you want to break down what your mindset was before going into the trade. I see a lot of traders, for breaking down the overview and actually explaining the thought process, they say, oh, I felt it was a bad trade, I knew it was going to hit stop loss. No, don't say that, because you saw it hit stop loss afterwards. Say what you thought in the beginning that made you want to take the trade. You took the trade because you thought it was a good opportunity, right? You followed your strategy, thought it was valid. Now, why did you think it was valid? What did you see on the charts? Talk about that. Then, if there are areas to improve, you can write about sections on how to improve. Maybe should have waited for my final entry criteria, jumped in too early, or for example, jumped in too late, or wasn't paying attention to the market. Pay attention to the charts. Don't be distracted. Let's say you missed a trade, for example. And then you could type in this area, lesson learned, pretty much in short, like a sentence or max like 2. The lesson you specifically are supposed to extract from this specific trade or the specific how to improve section. And then if you broke any rules, you could type yes and the specific rule that you broke. And you can also add that to the lesson learned, what rule you should follow for next time, or what rule should keep in mind. And if it helps, you can summarize this lesson learned section onto a sticky note, and as well have that attached to your monitor somewhere on your desk or on a piece of paper so you can visually see all the lessons learned. One actually helpful thing I want to point out that I didn't include in the 5 methods is, it might be helpful for some of you to make a full document of all of your lesson learned thing combined, because you're going to see sometimes in different trades, you're going to have different lessons that you learn from it. And you want a way to quickly be able to glance at all these lessons learned, potentially right at market open, so that you already know in the back of your head what lessons to look out for and what lessons you have to remember, because this lesson learned area is for you to mark down mistakes that you made and what you should do next time. So you can obviously see how this might be helpful to go over at the start of every session to make sure you don't make these mistakes again. So what I recommend to you guys, make a new Notion page or a new Google Doc, whatever it may be, or on a piece of paper. Write down a list of all of your lesson learned analyzations. So you can review those every single time right before market opens and read them to yourself, especially during your trading session, so that you don't make the same mistakes over and over again. All right. With that way, you're also going to get past a lot of your common mistakes that are not just about overtrading, but about FOMOing, entering too early, entering too late, missing out on trades, hesitating, confidence, etc. All just from being able to track your thought process and seeing the flaws in your kind of mental approach of your strategy. Next, my bonus last trade. Also, I'll give you guys a link for this as well, so you guys can, let me delete this. I'll give you guys a link for this so you guys can sign up with that too and add that and make a copy. Also, when you guys are adding this, make sure you go here, press the 3 dots and duplicate and add a copy, okay? Make a copy for both the trading plan and the trading journal so you guys can edit it, because you won't be able to edit it because this is going to be my version of it, okay? So final bonus tip. This might be helpful for a lot of you, especially if you're trading with prop firms, okay? It's going to be pretty similar to the fifth one, but a little different. You're going to record your trading sessions, for example, with OBS, and rewatch them later after you're done trading. The reason this is going to be so helpful, I also did this when I was learning my specific strategy, because it helps me understand, did I follow my rules? Where did I break my rules? Was my entry valid looking back? Because, you know, in hindsight, you could see, was your entry valid? Not because if it lost or if it won, but was it following the strategy rules? Did I wait for all my criteria to be hit before entering? So when I record my sessions, sometimes I might not see things during that session that I might notice later down the line when that pressure is, like, for example, off my shoulders, and I can look back and see, all right, oh, I missed out on this. That's what I didn't see. Oh, that was happening, and I FOMO'd, and I wanted to jump in because it was moving fast, and I thought I wouldn't get my entry, so I entered too early, right? So these things you're going to be able to actually see later when you're done trading, because you're not actually focused on trading at that moment anymore. You're focused on seeing what flaws you made in your specific session, right? Because it kind of, now your state of mind, your purpose of watching the session is different. So you're looking at it at a different perspective. That's going to allow you to see different mistakes and catch different mistakes that you probably didn't see when you're live trading, right? Especially important, even though it's a bonus tip, it's not part of the 5 criterias or 5 methodologies. It's still going to be as helpful as one of the 5. All right. So make sure you're doing this, recording your trades. You can use a platform like OBS, which is the one I'm streaming on. I use it every single day. It's really helpful. So you guys can find a video on how to set that up. I don't have a video on setting up OBS, but set that up. Make sure you start your recording, start your session. Make sure you record it all the way to the time where you're done trading and recap the session every single day. And if you want to take the extra step, you can even journal your recording sessions and see what you realized and go over those lessons that you learned from your trading session, and also include that in your page of lessons learned, right? It's just going to be so helpful going over all the mistakes that you made and having them on a full list, so you know on the new trading session, what mistakes do I make, the most common mistakes that I make, so that next time you don't make the mistake again. You're consciously aware of what mistakes you make so that you're not going to make the mistake, because you know what you shouldn't be doing. A lot of the times you'll realize you make the mistake because you're not actively thinking about what you shouldn't be doing. But when you know what you shouldn't be doing actively and constantly reading over it every few minutes during your trading session, you're most likely not going to make the mistake because you know what you shouldn't be doing, right? The issue is we all get so distracted about the different kind of things that's going on with the chart, or different criteria that are going on with our strategy as the markets are playing out, that we forget the mistakes that we make and what we should do instead. This is why I always also preach trading simple is going to be so much easier on your mental, because you don't have to worry about so many different parameters, and not worrying about so many parameters is going to allow you to focus on not making the mistakes that you normally make, because now you have less things to worry about, so less potential chance of error. Okay, again, keep things simple, keep things as systematical as possible, because you don't have to make too many decisions. The more decisions you have to make, the harder it's going to be following all of your rules, because you have to worry about more things. Okay. Trading is already stressful on its own. You don't want to make it more stressful by adding complicated rules. So wrapping it up again from the top to bottom, limit yourself to a trading window, for example, 9:30 to 10:30, whatever trading window suits your strategy, and follow it mechanically to the T, to the second, okay? Next, pair that up with restricting yourself to X amount of trades a day. For example, maybe 3 trades a day max, taking only the A++ setups. Sometimes you won't even take 3 trades. You'll take less, and that's okay. Sometimes you'll take 0, and that's totally fine. I've had weeks where I take 0 trades. This is weeks. So you're okay with that. Next, sometimes you can also go with the approach of stopping after 2 losses, maybe stopping stopping after 1 win, or stopping after 1 loss and then 1 win. So you have all different kind of outcomes covered up. All right. And then you can do the next one, number 3, which is limit any subjectivity and discretion in your strategy, minimizing any sort of room for human intuition or human error to come in, because especially if you're a beginner, that could leave you confused and guessing whether it's your actual intuition or if it's your emotions coming into play. And you might not realize which one's in play. So making it more mechanical will be a lot easier, especially as a beginner. Once down the line, if you master your mechanical strategy, then you can add a touch of discretion or a touch of intuition based on the experience you've collected with your mechanical strategy. That's how I would approach it if you really want to go the approach of being discretionary and adding discretion to your strategy. But I think overall mechanical might be a lot easier for most of you, just because it's simple, easy to get started with and build a profitable strategy out of. All right. Now, again, one thing before we move on to the next one, I want you guys to follow your rules consistently over a long period of time. Don't just quickly change rules from, 3 trades a day max to 5 trades to 1 trade max, and then be like, one day you're like, 9:30, 10:30. Next week you're like 9:30 to 11. Next week you're like, 9:30 to only 10 o'clock. No, keep it consistent for at least a month to 2 months and track your performance and see how you do. Okay? Don't just quickly jump from one rule or adjust the rule after every week or after every win or every loss. Keep it consistent, judge your performance over the larger time window or larger sample of trades, and then go from there. Next, have a full written out plan for what you look for with your specific strategy every day, right? I told you guys the Notion plan template, trading plan template that I built for you guys. You can break down your specific strategy, what you look for based on the instrument, market context, entries, stop loss, take profit rules, and trade management. It's going to be really helpful for you guys to break down what you need to look for in the market every single day. So now you have something written out that it's not just in the back of your head, that's something that you're memorizing. It's fully written out that you can refer to every single second of the trading session in case you're ever confused or you feel like your emotions are getting up there and interfering with your trading decision making. Number 5, journal your trades. I'll give you guys the specific template for that too. Record your analysis and your thought process on this specific page. And for every single trade you take, make a new page. All right. Now, bonus, again, record your sessions with OBS. This can be really helpful to go over your sessions and see what mistakes you made, because now you're going over the same session and your performance, but with a different purpose and a different mindset and a different perspective, a different objective. All right. That's going to allow you to catch the mistakes that you're making that you don't notice during the trading window because you're so focused on making money instead of focusing on your strategy, but you will be able to catch it after you're done trading because you're obviously not making money when you're recapping your trading session. All right. Implement all these tactics. I promise you guys, you're going to notice such a big benefit or such a big boost in your trading performance. You're not going to have any more overtrading issues. You're not going to have any more revenge trading issues or jumping in early or jumping in late and FOMOing because you have all these rules set in stone for your specific approach. All right. If you guys include any of these rules and you make some progress, let me know on my Discord or drop a comment below. I want to see how you guys are progressing with these rules. All right. Keep me posted, y'all. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.